This is my life, connecting with family and friends through music for the past 30 years. I'm Angel Ledezma, and this is As We Go Along. Welcome to As We Go Along. Tonight we are visiting an old friend of mine and an old bandmate of mine, Mr. Douglas C. Ward, Chicago legend. This will be the first time that I've been to his place in a very long time, and I'm really excited to share our evening with Douglas C. Ward and company. Hey! There he is. Sorry to keep you waiting, man. This traffic is just you? Oh, excellent.
Good to see you, brother.
Oh my God, good to see you.
Hey.
You remember?
I do. Hey.
I remember the last time. Whoa! I remember this kitchen. Douglas C. Ward has been an important player in Chicago's punk rock and DIY music scene since 1986. He first appeared in his band ID Under. Since then, he's played in such other groups as 8 Bark, V Reverse, which I served as his drummer, Fourth Rotor, 97 Sheiky, and Drilling for Blasting with his partner Cammy Lee on drums. He's also been a supporting player in bands such as Screechin' Weasel, The Geezers, and Days Off. He was also a major contributor to Underdog Records, originally run by Russ Forrester. The label became a collective run by volunteers that released dozens of records by local bands such as Cap'n Jazz, Bo Weevils, Gage, and the legendary and influential Achtung Chicago compilations. And he's also a very dear friend of mine.
Hello. Hi. There we go. Hi.
For having us in. Of course. This is Athena.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
My cousin Alexis. This is the crew.
You have a really gorgeous house, by the way.
Work in progress. Yeah, so we got this place in 1998, and yeah, it's kind of cool. It's funny. I didn't really, it's no palace or anything, but first thing that caught our eye was it has still all the original woodwork.
Mm.
People had painted it over 50,000 times,
Yeah.
and although it's really basic, I don't know, it charmed us. So we're like, this is cool, and I love these big windows and all that other stuff. So
That's what we were talking about, actually, Athena and I, at some point. Whenever we do get a house, one of the things is lots of windows. So
Yeah.
you got it very well. Yeah. And it was like the original color, right? Or did you?
No, it was something else. That was sort of that color that we changed it to. So still got a little bit more work to do. But
Okay.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like we just kind of wanted to go back to it's from that 1903 house, and so I don't know. Why fight the house? I like the style, so we just leaned into it.
Yeah.
And then I've added all my own all this furniture, almost everything made out of wood. I did. Built.
Oh wow.
My garage is a wood shop. So I've been doing that for about the last 15 years,
Okay.
and slowly making all these arts and craft pieces and putting together. I didn't make that instrument, but that's a cool story.
Oh yeah. What's the story on? Is this like old percussion?
So it's actually from, I believe it's Cambodian, and it's sort of an instrument that's designed to make jungle sounds and like noises of the rainforest. So like it kind of looks like a Dr. Seuss instrument, you know, but sort of like these sort of like rainforest sounds. This is sort of a smaller one. They have bigger ones that are sort of, this is more of a, I guess sort of like a souvenir instrument more than it is a real one. But this was a gift from a friend of ours, a guy named Tom O'Horgan, who was originally from Chicago, lived out in New York. He was the original director of Jesus Christ Superstar and of Hair in New York City. And so he was a legendary guy, friend of Cammie's brother, and he lived in this insane loft right off Washington Square, rent controlled since like 1971. So he's paying like $300 a month. Anyway, this big loft, and anybody who's a musician would have loved it. You walked in there, every inch of the place was stuffed with crazy instruments, musical instruments of all kinds, shapes, and sizes. Antiques, modern ones, stuff people had made and given him, harps, trumpets, drums, cymbals, theremins, everything except no guitars. He's like, there's too many guitars. And he was trained as a harpist.
Okay.
Anyway, and then it's this crazy thing, and then he was like, you want to play anything? Grab it. So it wasn't a museum, you know, so you go over there. Anyway, he was a crazy, weird old guy. We helped him out with some stuff, and then as a gift, he sent that in a box.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's a cool.
Wow.
And it was great because the box had no information. It was like a cardboard box. We're like, what the hell is this thing?
Is it a bomb? No.
Anyway, that's what it is.
That's awesome. That was
yeah,
a cool
Tom
story.
O'Horgan. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but he lived a cool, crazy life.
I think actually now I know the name just because you know.
He was in Broadway music theater and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool guy.
I noticed your. I love your frames, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
But I noticed the posters. These were the ones that NASA issued, right? Of like the
kind of the NASA travel posters, right?
Of all the planets that.
So it's kind of like sci-fi, but also kind of this old, because those are sort of the original National Park posters.
Yeah.
So
you made those too? You made all these frames?
yeah, all the frames.
Oh.
I made.
I remember that. I mean, even when we were playing together, I do remember you building your own stuff, like building cabinets for your amp.
Yeah, I was more drywall, screws, and 2x4s then.
Sure.
And then I kind of graduated to fancier stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
You self-taught, I'm guessing, right? Or did you read it?
Yeah, self-taught. I just dove in and learned here and there, made mistakes. So yeah.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, and then my music setup is hidden speakers in this thing.
Very cool.
And then those are records. And this old Victrola cabinet, we converted to being a holder for a record player.
Nice.
So the Victrola part worked, but I wasn't going to go down the road of being a 78 collector guy. So we removed the guts, so you can put them back in, but now it's this rad record player setup.
You got the best. I mean, it's like the best. Like
yeah.
No, definitely.
It just looks cool and fits in, but yeah, we got all our crazy stuff in there. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a good setup. This piano's been fun too. It's nothing fancy. We just finally got it tuned up. Do you play piano at all?
No. I can do the Stooges, you know.
There you
I
are.
want to be your dog. Or more like, was it? I can do that all day.
That's all you need. But don't do that all day.
No.
Another little bedroom is my lair
Nice.
for computers and guitars and
Okay.
nerd games and all that kind
I
of
mean,
stuff.
I'm glad you still have still keeping the nerd games on point. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, check that out.
That's a vestige of my past when I was Mac fanatic.
I was gonna say, so is the rumors are true that you're no longer a Mac guy?
Well, I'm retired,
So
I'm out of IT. So
okay.
yeah, I worked in IT for a long time,
Right.
30 years or so. But
I mean, since I remember, you were always the Mac guy, but And then you retire, and then you don't use the product anymore, or you're like...
No. I mean, I still use Max as a consumer. But
Oh, okay.
I'm not a soldier in the fight.
Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good little setup. I do my nerd computer guitar stuff here.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah.
What do we have in this thing here?
Yeah, I just got that out a little while ago. It's actually it's a modern one.
Okay.
It's not a vintage one, but it's really nice.
Yeah.
I dig it. I did a little drawing, built all this stuff.
Was this the bass you were playing with the geezers when we first met?
I think so. Yeah, that could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a nicer one downstairs in our practice space. That's a cheaper one that I bought. I had it for a while, and actually I brought that one with 97 Shiki to Southeast Asia because I didn't want the good one to get broken on the airplane. So it holds up pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, my world of nerdery in here.
Oh, yeah.
You want to check out the practice space?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's ugly, but
I mean,
it works.
I mean, you should have seen the last place we played at, so.
Watch your head. I will remind you.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few headbangers down here. Yeah, when we were looking for the house, we had two criteria. One was we wanted a tree in the backyard, and we wanted a basement we could build a practice space.
I think since I've known you, I remember that was kind of the criteria in general.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So it's not pretty.
Kidding me? This is beautiful. This is like, this is the dream right here, having your own.
There you go.
You know? Oh, you got a mixer and everything.
Yeah, we have the whole setup down here. So it's not that big, but we have got 5 people playing in here once.
Okay.
It's not comfortable, but 3 or 4 is fine. And
we're not here for comfort. We're here to work.
Yeah, and then we got this little guy set up. We call it the Rememberator, so we can record ourselves while we're practicing. So if we write something, we can remember what the hell we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is our little place, and it's kind of crazy overbuilt because. So actually, there's a V-reverse connection. Here's when we got this house and moved in. Adam Checkness, bassist of V-reverse, was he'd been doing some work. I think he'd been hanging drywall with people, and so he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll totally help you guys out." So Adam laid a lot of this drywall in there, which was great because it was a pain in the butt. This is so overbuilt. It's like. So the walls, for example, so we were paranoid when we go to the beginning. We were paranoid about pissing off our neighbors, right? We wanted to be able to practice in our house. And so we're like, you gotta make sure it's soundproofed. And so with a little bit of acoustic science nerdery, these walls, like a normal stud wall would be a 2x4 with a 2x4 and you hang rock on it. These are actually 6-inch sills or 6-inch plates. And there's 2x4s that are staggered. So the inside drywall is not hanging on the same studs as the outside drywall.
Okay.
So when the inside stuff moves, the sound has to go over to the air gap to the other side of that. So it's actually 2 layers of drywall on each side and insulation in the middle.
Okay.
Right? It's bonkers. And so it's like twice the amount of drywall that a room this size would have.
Right.
And Adam, man, he was our hero. Because he came, I remember him just like one-handing it, and like he was great. So
I just think about him working down here. I could just picture him just like a monster, just like.
Adam was a big guy. Yeah, he was like 50 pounds heavier than me and 2 inches taller.
But then he's also, like he's just a genius. He's just like, he's also a nerd genius as well. So he probably was thinking, that is.
Oh no, he was a huge help, and I just remember it was just like it felt like we were continuously hauling sheets of drywall down in there. But we got it all together and we did it all up, and it's really great. The only compromise is the ceiling's a little low, so we couldn't drop it any more. We had to go around the soffit for the air conditioning. But the funny thing is, so we did all this stuff, and then we were playing and stuff, and paranoid was doing that. We took a while to get to know our neighbors to the north, and it was maybe a couple years we've been here. One day we're hauling band equipment in and out of the back, and neighbor was like, "Oh wow, hey, are you guys in a band?" We're like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, where do you practice?" So we're like, "Okay, excellent. This is working great. We've been playing full volume next to you for about a year or two, so
Beautiful.
yeah, it worked out good.
Yeah.
And now it was probably overkill. We were just paranoid, but we wanted to practice in our house, right? So,
I mean, no, there's
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about like, oh, I gotta, obviously cutting it short at a certain time, and that's
yeah, we can do whatever. So it worked out really good. So,
beautiful. That's beautiful.
yeah. So it ain't pretty, but it does the job.
Like I said, this is beautiful. This is what at some point, we're gonna get. Yeah.
Again, I wish it was a foot taller. I wish it was bigger. It had windows, but hey, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
That's practice land.
Cool. I was hoping I get to see the practice room. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Right, and I just remember, the Atom connection is like, it's great.
And do you remember we both have the same birthday, month, day, and year? Adam and I.
That's right.
So. Oh, kitty.
That's Oksana.
Oksana?
She'd like you to go over there and spank her butt, by the way.
Oh, is that her? Yeah.
That's her rug.
Yeah,
That's her thing. You gotta pay the toll. She loves it. But yeah, this is just a weird little area. We got our like camping gear and stuff like that. We're still setting it up.
So where in Wisconsin did you guys camp at?
All over the place. We were just up at Wildcat Mountain, which is up in the west central Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
We go up to the the North Woods area and the Kettle Moraine and all that.
I was gonna say that one I'm familiar with, Kettle Moraine. That's like my favorite.
So we're always looking for new places. Yeah, and then this is just Cammie's office.
Okay. Oh, hello there.
All set up in there.
Who's this one over here?
That's Titus.
Oh, hey, Titus. That's the name of Athena's ex-boyfriend, Titus. We just talking. Hey, Titus.
Yeah, so this worked out pretty good. Back when I used to do audio mastering and stuff like that, this used to be my mastering room, but now it's just our bedroom.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, what happened to I remember you were really like doing the mastering a lot.
It was. Well, it was interesting where I got to with that, because it was like, when I started doing it, it was like nobody around, like in the scene or DIY scene, knew anything about doing mastering.
Yeah.
And I had started to do with computer nerdery and like editing together things for comps and stuff, doing sequencing. It sort of spilled over into, well, now I gotta equalize the levels. Oh, now I could do a little bit of EQ. Now it turned into mastering. So that's when I started doing it, mostly because none of the other bands or whatever else really knew that was a step they needed or helped out. And so I started doing it. And then we moved into this house. Actually, I sound treated this room and a whole setup here. It's a whole mastering studio. It was like the couch, and it was all tuned, and I did it for a long time. But it's funny, as it went on, it started to get to the point where I don't know, it got more and more popular, and where it was first like friends, and then it was friends of friends. It started to be like people I didn't know kind of coming over, and it was like, it's in my house. So at first that's a little weird. Plus it was getting to the point where I had to either lean all in and like make that my living, get some studio somewhere, invest the money and go all in, or pull back. And I was doing other things, and so step back from it.
Yeah.
Plus at the time when I did too, it had sort of covered that period to where by the time I stopped, people knew what mastering was, bands knew what they were. There was other places and people that were doing it. So it wasn't like, but...
So I'm curious about the tree. Is it just for coverage, privacy, or just because you like...
It's a tree. Who doesn't want a tree, Angel? It's gorgeous.
Are you telling me to hug this tree out? I will hug this tree. This is a beautiful tree. Look at this thing.
I don't know.
Wow.
We were like, we want a tree and to be able to do a practice space. And we got both.
And this is, the way it just shoots out like this.
I think it's the biggest tree on the block. It's a silver maple. It's in good shape.
Yeah.
We give it a hair, call a company a haircut at every 5 years or so. But yeah, we love it.
No Asian beetle invasion?
No, luckily no.
Yeah, not.
They checked it for us, but.
Not on that.
Yeah, and then again, it's really messy, but.
I appreciate you showing us your gorgeous messes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. The table saw and the whole thing. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it used to be a garage, but only an animal would park a car in a wood shop, So.
Right.
So yeah, it's been a wood shop for the last 15 years, and.
Now, do you guys have a car, or are you just city folk that you don't?
Yeah, we have a car, so we can park it in the carport next
So.
door, or just out front.
Okay.
But
yeah, no, that's. I mean,
it doesn't come in here. Who would do that? Who would do such a thing? But
no, I hear you. Yeah.
it's a total mess right now. So.
But this is where all the action happens. That goes, all the stuff that goes in your home goes.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's great, and we insulated it, and that thing is a combo heater air conditioner, so it's actually 4 seasons in here. So
nice.
Even if it's freezy cold, it heats up fine in here, and I can work, and it's great. So yeah, it's a good creative space.
Yeah.
For things. So
it clears your mind a little bit, or would you say doing this kind of work? Like
it totally does.
Yeah.
I mean, I always like I said, I was 2x4s and drywall screws for a long time, living in lofts and building stuff for band things and this, that, and the other. But I don't know, I wanted to build some furniture that was nice and stuff. Like I said, I got inspired by the woodwork of that house and thought what would be appropriate for the time period, and just kind of got into it, and I found it really lovely. So
this is yeah,
it's I don't work in here all the time, but there's always something going on.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a mess going on.
Yeah, I know you got like little stuff going on here. I see is that like a bowl that you're working on here? This is.
This is I'm just getting into bowl and spoon carving, which is a total different thing from all the power tools and furniture. This is a cooksa. It has a way to go. Cooksa is it's like a Laplander term for a freaking wooden bowl.
Okay.
But there was that's actually from some elm. There's an elm tree that fell down.
Okay.
And I just sawed it off and started learning how to carve it. So I'm kind of still figuring out how to do it, but this has to be made much more delicate, but it'll get there. Yeah. So I'm learning that and learning all the carving tools and stuff. Jack, of course, is a great carpenter and a craftsman, and I know he also did years ago. He was getting into Pacific Northwest Indian carving stuff. He did a bunch of carving things, which I actually knew talking about.
Okay.
He's far down that road, and I just sort of like the freehand carving thing is new to me. So.
Well, I'm going to see him on. We're going to see him on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
So I'll definitely pass that along. I don't know if you guys have your info or anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Jack and I have been doing this for a few years. I don't know why. I mean, we see each other and we're always like, "Hey, and we catch up and we should get together and all this stuff." And
well, that's kind of how you and I, and also with Jack for a while before I started playing in a band with him. I'd see him and like, "Oh my god, like it's been so long," and then we'll have to catch up, and then 2 years down the path.
Right. It's that kind of thing. Yeah, so. But you got to put in the work and make those things, get those connections done. Which is why I'm super thrilled that we're doing this.
This is the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
It's circling back, reconnecting, and then food is the center of the whole thing. So I hope you're not dying of hunger or anything right now.
Well, I am. I've had tilapia tacos on my mind since you mentioned it. But,
okay. Yeah.
But I'm down to get started on it.
Yeah.
We can do whatever. You want to do interview stuff first, or?
No, we should eat. We should get the food going, eat, so we could get that out of the way.
All right.
And then once we're fed, then we can.
Sounds great.
Yeah, you always have to talk with it's better to talk with a full stomach.
I agree. All right. Yeah. Well, you've seen pretty much everything in my crazy world then. So
like I said, when I met you, it was definitely, I wouldn't say it was humble beginnings, but you're just halfway into that trajectory world of
Yeah, I always liked it. I always liked building stuff and everything, but it was just sort of a weird point where I don't know where things come from that way. But I was just like, I'm gonna start making some good stuff.
We're gonna find out about that. I think we're gonna find out about like where did that? I mean, maybe it's just because. Well, and then I'm just kind of theorizing. You know, if you go to a store and you're like looking for something, you're like, this is not really what I'm looking for. Maybe if I just build it on or figure out a way. Like, I mean, would I be far from wrong for saying?
Well, I mean, part of that is. Yeah, I think that's partially true too, and somehow there's a thing where I really got an appreciation for like the old way of doing things, and craftsman way and hand tool way of doing. Although I've got power tools and such too, I really started out, and I use heavily kind of old timey hand tools, planes and saws and chisels, and I don't know. Part of it is sort of like. I guess I've always been interested in technology. It's interesting. I was doing IT and computers. And I was on that road, but it was really more about figuring out how to use a tool in a generic sense. And you see, old craftsmanship and old things in houses and cool architectural details or an old piece of furniture, and you realize, wow, most of this was done by hand. How do they do it? Like, And so, I started going to flea markets and finding other planes and learning about them and figuring out how to use them. And, you learn, I don't know, that journey was fun for me.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like history or anything else, or music, where it's like, if you learn about where we came from, you understand where we are now, and then you see all that cool thread of connections of, this was a thing that led to that and led to that and led to this. But also, like, along the way, certain things are thrown out the window, like forgotten. Like, oh, we're going to do this.
Right.
So, I guess the example is you go to whatever IKEA and get some furniture and put it together. It looks nice, but if you bump it once or take it apart to move it and put it again, and then it's junk. And you throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
And that was always seemed wasteful and sort of crazy making. Sure, you can get fancy furniture that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, but I wasn't a zillionaire, so it was more like, I wonder if I can make this stuff with these old tools. And the process was fun, it was super enjoyable. I learned a whole lot about tools and wood and furniture and making and craftsmanship, and learned the things that kind of got forgotten by the side of the road. So like convenience is king, and so things get cheaper and more convenient, and that that old story, right?
Yeah. Whereas and obviously it's making stuff to fill your home, furniture wise, but also it's like
to learn about it on the way, right?
But then for as long as I'm knowing you,
it's not cost effective in terms of like your time and energy and all that stuff to do it that way, but just to have made things and then use them.
Yeah.
I love that process. It's been so enriching to me. I don't know, I just learned so much, and that's the value of it.
I mean, that's always been your quest since I've known you. Is like you want to learn about how is this made? How do we make it to? How is this even possible? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. How can we do it?
Yeah.
Right. So so it's been a lot of fun on that. And then once you build things and they're in your house, then every time you use them or look at them or think about them or talk about them with people, it's a callback to, oh yeah, I remember building that, and it's fulfilling, rewarding. So I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. So,
all right, shall we get ready and make some food?
Yeah.
All right. You getting hungry, Cammy?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start making food.
Douglas, do you have any sticks?
Do I have any sticks?
You guys see some right?
Got a whole bunch of sticks. Yeah. Put the light off and close that.
All right. And I'm saying this to myself, but I'm just going to say it out loud. Make sure we wash our hands. There we go. Also got to make sure, let's do the claw thing. I was working in fish at Whole Foods.
Sure did. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
You did that forever. Are you not doing that anymore?
No, I quit in 2021.
Oh, okay.
It was the greatest thing that I ever did. Yeah, it was.
You did it for a long time.
Almost 20 years. Yeah, I mean,
We gotta go.
I mean,
I
honestly,
hope that
like,
wasn't too annoying, but I think we all had fun.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for you and being in a band with you, I probably wouldn't have seen a lot of the places that I saw. So thank you. That was.
Thank you. We had some good adventures.
No, we definitely. I was thinking about because I just saw, I follow the guys from Holocron.
Oh yeah, okay.
And they posted a picture. I think it was their last show they did. I think. What was it?
I haven't thought about those guys for a long time.
Yeah, December 30th, 1996 was their last.
Okay.
Because I think we hooked up with them in that year.
Right around then, yeah.
And those guys were a hoot because they were
they were a blast. They were goofy dudes.
They were like, "Oh, you're fisting." I'm like, "What?" "Oh, no, you got something in your hand. That's fisting." I'm like,
"Oh, okay."
I never. Yeah, and then it just kind of, I don't know. We just kind of.
We use that term too.
Yeah, yeah. In the States is another story, but then every time it's like, "Oh, is that fistable?" I mean, that was the whole. And if I remember not mistaken, those were the same guys they had recorded the audio of like a bunch of movies. So they were just like, I think they had recorded Weird Science, but just the audio.
Oh God, right? They would listen to it on tour.
Yeah, it was like books on tape or something like that. Meanwhile, we're like
total weirdos.
And of course,
that's funny. I've forgotten. Thank you for writing.
No. And then, do you still talk to the Sherbrooke guys?
I don't talk to them. I follow a few of those guys on Facebook.
Okay.
So there's Martine and Mede, those people from Quebec. And I shoot a message every so often back and forth with those guys. Oh, and actually, there's one of those guys is doing show production in Quebec City. He's like, if you ever get a band, you gotta come on up. And, Martine, Martin, I should say. He's like, before the pandemic, he was going on like this heavy metal cruise ships.
He was doing that.
He was really into that.
Okay.
And Mede, who, remember kind of sandy-haired guy? I don't know if you remember him.
I see a picture of him.
Anyway, he I forget what band he was playing in back in the day, but he started a band a few years after that has been going on forever called Karate. And Karate is like it's kind of like the Quebec Pogues in a way.
Oh, okay.
So it's like traditional like Quebec folk music.
Sure.
But also like kind of their pop punk rock aesthetic, and him and his family are farmers. In fact, he's 14th generation on the same farm as family.
Oh wow!
Like from the 1600s, like the old Quebecers, and he still runs a farm. His whole family does. So he plays up, I'm the farmer guy. So he's like wears overalls and stuff.
Okay.
And his Quebec French is really thick, like hillbilly accent for Quebec. I can't understand at all. Well, a little bit, but not very much. But he plays that up. He wears like a big goofy straw hat, and and they're now like local heroes. They play all these shows, and they're like a big deal. And
whoa, okay.
So Karate, and they put out a bunch of albums, and he's having a fun time with that. So it's cool.
Whoa, okay.
So he works on the farm, smokes mountains of dope, and then plays in Karate. So, it's his fight. So yeah. So anyway, I kind of keep up a little bit with those guys.
Yeah. I mean, this has been last 4 years that I forget which guy in Holocron. I think it's Ryan. I forget.
Okay.
Yeah. Who also has like some kind of, he's been doing like some, I don't know if he does a podcast or he does radio stuff, but.
I can try to find him. I mean, if you.
Yeah, I can
set stuff. Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, can I check these or?
Just leave me a second.
Oh, golly.
We'll sort them out.
My cousin Alexis suggested making Mexican street tilapia tacos, also known as pescaditos. To make this, just cut the tilapia into strips and coat with the batter. To make the batter, you need 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and about half a can of orange soda until the mix becomes a batter. You can also use beer and chili powder instead of orange soda. So now that we got the batter going, place in a pan with plenty of oil. Cook 4 to 5 minutes on each side or until golden brown. Transfer to an aluminum pan or plate lined with towels to soak up any excess oil. Serve with tortillas, lettuce, any condiments you like, and of course it always goes well with rice and beans. The meal was awesome. Everything tasted really good, and it was really cool to hang out with Douglas and Cammie along with Athena and Alexis, kind of getting the full circle of our long and illustrious history, not only in music, but personality-wise. Thank you for checking out part 1 of As We Go Along with Angel with Douglas C. Ward. Stay tuned for part 2, where Doug and I have a chat. Until then, we'll meet again.